Today we're looking at something very important, very essential for everyone. Actually, when you look at the Word of God, you find some gracious, wonderful commandments. And we're looking at 3 of them today. In Deuteronomy chapter 20, I'm reading from verse 4. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verse 4. For the Lord your God is he that goeth with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you, to save you. You find one word there, fight. That God was going with the children of Israel and was to fight with them. When you use the word fight, you can fight with. You are supporting so that you fight against their enemy. And the purpose is clear: to save you, to rescue you, to lift you up, to preserve you. The word there, fight. As you look at all the other verses, why don't you look at verse 5? It says in verse 5, it says, and the officers shall speak unto the people, saying, what man is there that has built a new house, and he has not dedicated it? Let him go and return to his house, lest he die in the battle, and another man dedicate it. Now you'll find this talking about a national battle. If it's a personal battle, you build a house, and then there's a personal battle, and then you retreat. The person is fighting with you will take the house. When you read the Bible, please understand what you read. And when it talks about fighting here, it's actually talking about the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel going to all those Hittites and Hivites and the Canaanites. And the Lord had given Abraham and Isaac and Jacob the land of Canaan. Now, they were to possess what land the Lord had given to Israel as a nation. And they were to fight against these 7 nations that God had given unto them for a possession. And so the command is, go fight. But you're going to discover in the New Testament that these conditions here, you build a house and you're afraid if you go, somebody might take the house, so stay back at home. That provision was not given in the New Testament. Why? The New Testament believers were not fighting against any nation, against any Canaanite, against any Hivite, against any Jebusite. The people of the New Testament were to go into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. The fight in the New Testament is very different. We'll get to that. I fought a good fight. I have kept the faith. And then you fight the good fight of faith. You're not fighting against any Gentile nation. You're not fighting against even your own nation. Now, look at chapter 2 of Deuteronomy. I'm reading from verse chapter 2. We're looking at verse 4. It tells us here, it says, and command thou the people, saying, ye are to pass through the coast of your brethren, the children of Esau, which dwelt in Seir, and they shall be afraid of you. Take ye good heed unto yourself. And it says, therefore, look at verse 5. In verse 5, it says, meddle not with them. Israel, I'm sending you forth. You're going to the land of Canaan. You will pass through the land of Edom. This Mount Seir, I've given that to the children of Esau. Do not meddle with them. Don't fight them. Don't take their land. You see, we need to understand that the Lord gave this to Esau, that to Lot, and that to Ammon and Moab, the children of Lot. And God said, fight them not. For the Canaanites, I gave them the land. They polluted the land. They brought in idolatry, and they brought in the abominations that I hate. Therefore, I am getting them out of the land. God could have done that without Israel. In fact, he said, the land will spew them out. He said, I will send onyx, and those bees will drive them away. I could have done that all by myself, but for you to understand the value of the land I'm giving unto you, go fight. But this, don't fight. So we need to understand when to fight, what to fight, and when not to fight, and what not to fight. We're looking at chapter, come back to chapter 2 later, but we're looking at chapter 20 again, verse 3. In chapter 20, verse 3, it says, and shall say unto them, hear, O Israel, ye approach this day unto the battle against your enemies. Understand? Those people were the enemies of God. And because they were the enemies of God, they were the enemies of Israel. If anyone is not the enemy of God, is not an enemy of Israel. Anyone who is not an enemy of the God of Abraham, of the God of Isaac, of the God of Jacob, will not be an enemy of Israel. Let's understand then, when it says, against your enemies, against my enemies, God says, fighting against me, fighting against my word, fighting against my will, thereby they become your enemies. Ye approach this day unto the battle against your enemies. Let not your hearts faint. Fear not. He spoke to all the children of Israel. Fear not. You've just built a house. Fear not. You planted a vineyard. Fear not. You married a wife. Fear not. He spoke to all of Israel. Oh, Israel, you're approaching this day unto your enemies. Be not afraid, fear not. But, the children of Israel in the Old Testament, God says, this is what to do. And then God stands back and he says, old generation, old covenant, fear not. But if you will not have faith in me and you are afraid, he gave the leeway for those who will not have the faith in him and they'll be afraid. In the New Testament, that concession is not given. Jesus said, my friends, fear not what man can do. And Jesus did not put a condition. Suppose you are afraid, this is what you do. If you happen to be afraid, this is what you do. In case you will not accept my word, fear not, and you are afraid, this is the way to go. You don't find that in the New Testament. The hardness of heart in the Old Testament gave them an alternative. This is the perfect absolute will of God. But should in case your hardness of heart will hinder you from taking my absolute word, and you are afraid, all right, for your covenant, I permit you to stay back at home and do this. New Testament, fear not, full stop. No leeway and no concession. When you're afraid, if you're afraid, why did you fear, O ye of little faith? That's why we're looking thoroughly today on the message, fight not, fear not. That's the message today. Fight not, fear not. Fight, that's a command. Fear not, that's the fight not, that's the caution. And fear not, that is the courage, the boldness. Fight. We have number one. Look at number one there. Number one is comprehension of the faithful God-like fight. That God-like is very important. What God fights, we fight. What he doesn't fight, we don't fight. It's a God-like fight. Number two is the caution against fatal, godless fight. The caution against fatal, godless fight. Moses, tell them, when you get to the shore, the border of the land of Seir, tell all the soldiers to put their swords and their guns away. Fight not the land I've given to Esau. Moses, tell them, when you get to the land of Moab and the land of Ammon, which I have given to the children of Lot, tell them, fight not. If they did, that will be a fatal, godless fight. Caution against fatal, godless fight. Number three, God bless you, courage for the fruitful, good fight. There is a fruitful fight. Fight the good fight of faith. And when you come to that, this is fruitful. And this is profitable. And this is commanded from heaven. Fight the good fight of faith. You need courage to do that. Where God says, come on, go ahead and fight against idolatry, and fight against abomination, and fight against the necromancy of those Gentile nations, and fight against the powers of darkness. You cannot fail. They cannot defeat you. Be of good courage, fear not, be not dismayed, and go ahead, fight with courage the good fight of faith.
Please consider subscribing, because this channel is based on helping you as a human being and also building up your spiritual life to the standard form. If you're on Facebook, follow me to strengthen yourself as a human being, both mental and physical, and strengthen your spiritual life. And also share it to others, and it costs you nothing. Just hit on the follow icon and keep viewing my content.